There's a silence inside you that has been screaming for years. You don't show it, but you feel it. You walk into rooms and sense people's energy before they say a word. You shrink when you sense disapproval. You perform when you feel unseen. You smile when you're not okay, and no one truly knows. Because you're good at being liked. But being liked isn't the same as being loved, and being accepted by the world isn't the same as being known by yourself. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." And for many of us, what's unconscious is this addiction. Approval. Part 1. Where it begins. Let's go back. Before the titles, before adulthood, before filters and highlight reels, there was a moment in your life, maybe you were 4 or 7 or 12, when you learned that certain parts of you got rewarded and other parts were ignored, or worse, punished. You laughed and they said, "You're such a joy." You cried and they said, "Stop being dramatic." You excelled and they said, "You're special." You failed and they said nothing at all. So you learned to read the room. You learned that love felt conditional. And to survive, you adapted. Psychologists call this attachment conditioning. Jung called it persona development. The social mask you wear to gain acceptance in the world. But here's the problem. Over time, the mask doesn't feel like a costume anymore. It feels like you. And that's where the fracture begins. For more content like this, click the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. We thank you for your support. Part 2. The mask becomes the identity. The world rewards your mask, your politeness, your achievements, your silence, your strength. But deep down, you wonder why you feel numb in crowds, why your smile feels heavy, why your joy feels fake. It's because you're not being rejected. It's your mask that's being celebrated. But what about your true self? The parts that are scared, the wild parts, the spiritual elements, the broken, beautiful, unfiltered parts. Those parts are buried deep, and buried things don't die. They rot in silence. This is what Jung meant when he warned us. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. In our world, seeking approval is the most subtle form of avoidance. Part 3. Researching the cost. This isn't just philosophy, it has scientific evidence behind it. Studies published in the Journal of Social and Clinical Psychology show that individuals who depend on external validation are significantly more prone to experience chronic anxiety, identity confusion, burnout, and even depression. You become like a chameleon, but forget your own true colors. You become everyone's favorite, yet lose your own voice. You are always in the room, but never fully present. This isn't truly living, it's merely role-playing your way through life. Part 4. The crisis point. Eventually something breaks. It's subtle at first. You stop answering texts. You start avoiding mirrors. You say, "I don't know what I want anymore." This is the ego cracking. This is the persona collapsing. And this moment, painful as it is sacred. Because now, you're not performing. You're searching. You're finally asking, who am I without the applause? That's not a breakdown, it's a breakthrough. Part 5. The real work, individuation. Jung called this the path of individuation. It's the most courageous journey a person can take. It's the decision to trade applause for peace, to stop auditioning for rooms that don't see your soul, to stop editing your truth just to be digestible. It means facing your shadow, the parts of you you were told to hide, your jealousy, your fear, your longing, your sadness. It's not about fixing those parts, it's about integrating them. Because you can't be whole by cutting out the parts that make you human. Individuation says, I will no longer betray myself to be loved by others. Part 6. From performance to peace. So how do you begin? Not by shouting your truth, but by whispering it to yourself. By waking up and asking, what feels true for me today? By noticing the moments you shrink and choosing not to. By setting boundaries, even if it shakes your voice. By letting people down, in order to finally rise. Here's the hard truth. You might lose people. You might lose roles, relationships, even routines. But you will find something sacred. You. And the you that emerges will be quieter, but more grounded. Less flashy, but more free. Less liked, but finally known. That's the gift of letting go of approval. You stop performing, and you start living. Part 7. The Final Word. Carl Jung once said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." But I would argue, the most beautiful thing is to do it anyway. Because once you accept yourself, you stop asking the world for permission to exist. You no longer fear rejection, because you no longer reject yourself. You no longer chase love, because you become love. Rooted, whole, seen, finally, by the one person who matters most, you.